Combo on the visitors, Eric here. And just to get things out of the way, if I look weird at all in this video, it's because I got a pretty bad sunburn from going to the beach a few days ago during vacation in Florida. So yeah, I wanted to just let you know about that beforehand. But I wanted to make this video because this has been a long time coming. As you all know, I hate Scott the Woz. I consider him just the worst person I can think of. But the thing is, why? Why do I hate Scott the Woz? Because I know I've made lots of jokes about him being a Nazi or a pedo and all, and this and that and that. But I feel like a video like this should happen. So I want to make a video explaining why not only do I hate Scott the Woz and Nathaniel Bandy and others, but why I feel like us as a collective community should do that. Why I shouldn't be the only one hating on Scott the Woz. Why I feel like we as a community need to hate this guy. So, and I just want to say right off the bat, I'm not saying turn your account into nothing but Scott the Woz hate posts. If you don't want to actively fight against him, that's fine. I don't actively fight against him either. I only sporadically bring it up. But I feel like showing this guy respect with how much he's done to our community, it's unjustifiable. There's no reason that any self-respecting music artist should show any basic respect to Scott the Woz, because he has refused to show us basic respect. So a big thing that a lot of people will just be like, or just say, is like, it's just a matter of opinion, essentially. That, oh, you don't agree with me? I hate you now. It's not that simple. It's not that black and white of a scenario. It's not that easy. The point is, Scott the Woz, as well as his associates, Nathaniel Bandy, Caddicarus, NicoBBQ, all those types of people, it's not just the fact that they hate on music. It's the fact that they do so unjustifiably, and the fact that they lie to make their arguments seem like they make sense when they don't. The thing is, they're not giving you actual good arguments about why music is bad. Because the truth is, music isn't bad. Sure, it's not the best game ever made, but for what it does a good job. But people like Scott the Woz, they have to, in order to push this bullshit belief that music is bad, they have to actively lie to their audience. And lie, they do. One of the biggest examples, and this is so common that it's hard to find someone who hates on music who doesn't bring this up, is what I like to call the 13 tutorial fallacy. Or the 13 tutorial lie. Basically, the claim that you need to complete 13 tutorials to unlock everything in the game. You need to complete the one at the beginning of the game, the advanced rock lesson, and all 11 basic style lessons. This is wrong. This is literally not based on any actual fact whatsoever. And I should know. I have 2 copies of the game. I have 2 saves of the game. One, I've completed every tutorial, including the drum lessons, on the best ranking, and the other one, I've barely done any of them. Because I know that you don't have to do that many to unlock everything. The only tutorials that unlock stuff are the one at the beginning of the game, because that's mandatory, and the 2 rock lessons. Every other basic style lesson is 100% optional. Like, the pop one, that's optional. Electronic, that's optional. Jazz, Japanese, electronic, I already said electronic. You get the point. They're all optional, except for the rock. Every single one is optional. And the fact that they constantly make this lie, to the point where that Svel dude, he said it's the most infamous part of the game. The fact that the most infamous part of the game is something that the game didn't even do, it's just a lie spread around by big wig nobodies who have lied their way to the top. It's really not a good situation. And there's a lot more good examples. Like, for example, with Nathaniel Bandy's review, the thing is, that review I think that review should go down in history as just being one of the worst made reviews of all time. Not just for video games, but for anything in general. Because, I mean, trees grow too fast, there's a fast travel button to the Wii menu. These are actual complaints that he made about the game, instead of that the game is bad because of them. Or the fact that you can't use the plus and minus buttons to scroll through the menu. You remember me bringing out the Dora plushie, right? To be like, can you find the D-pad? Where's the D-pad? I don't have the plushie with me right now, but the point stands. The fact is, these YouTubers like Scott the Woz, Nathaniel Bandy, Caddicarus, they are lying to make their point seem valid when it's just not. And I've heard some things about from my friends who do like Scott the Woz and stuff. Like, one of them basically said that you just agree to disagree. And I can get that. I understand where they're coming from. You know, being able to agree to disagree, understand that you have differences, it's a nice thing. But it makes but in this situation, agreeing to disagree makes the situation worse. Because, to put it in perspective, it's not... Basically, agreeing to disagree with Scott the Woz is like being the better man in a situation when you're the one that was wronged. You're not stopping the situation. You're not making amends. You're just enabling the abuser to continue abusing you because they know you won't fight back. And that's exactly what Scott the Woz has done. Not by agreeing to disagree and just accepting what he says, he's pushed it further. He's saying that the Wii music community supports Nazism. He's convinced several other people in the video game reviewing community to treat Wii music as harshly as possible. And he has fans like Mashed Tomatoes who not only shit-talk Wii music because of Scott the Woz, but shit-talk the people in the communities as well, and act like they're just losers who have nothing better to do with their lives. The point is, we can't just agree to disagree with Scott the Woz because he's not willing to do the same thing. He's not willing to do that. And by trying to do that, you enable him to just screw us all over in any way he wants because he knows we're not going to fight back. And for another big thing I want to bring up is that Scott the Woz's fan base and the fan base he creates, it's a really toxic one. Because the truth about Scott the Woz is that it doesn't matter how big of a fan you are. If you like all his videos, you leave heartfelt comments on every video, you subscribe to him, you follow him on Patreon, you give him your entire weekly income, it doesn't matter. Because if you disagree with him about anything like, say, you like Wii music, he views you as an inferior. That's basically, I can't really put it any other way. He views you as just a target to make fun of. And because he knows, people like Scott the Woz and Caddicarus know that they have an audience that will forcibly change all of their opinions just to match their sacred YouTuber. And they know that they can get that part of the audience to harass and bully the other part of the audience who isn't willing to do that. And that's what's so dangerous about people like Scott the Woz. Not only do they have a cult-like fan base that treat everything they say as if it's the word of God, Jesus, and the man of Seikayo himself, but he can make them literally fight each other, harass each other, bully each other, and still have everyone's respect. It's madness. It's absolute madness. So what do we do? What do we do when we're looking upon this gigantic, titanic, that's not a good word, this absolute titanium monster of a human being who has all of us around his hands, who rules over us with an iron fist, and we have no way out. We're trapped in this bubble. Well, one of the first things I feel we should do, and this is just a bare minimum. This is the bare minimum. Of course, if you want to actually spread the message and let other people know about how bad Scott the Woz is, that's good. But if you don't want to do that, that's alright. But the number one thing is that we can't let them forge our opinions anymore. And we can't just let them speak. Because they're spewing bullshit. And we have to... Their mouths... This is gonna go gross for a second, but their mouths are actively spewing shit right into our faces, and we're getting covered in it. So it's important that we grab a cork and shove it into that mouth to stop the flow. Because I know, for example, a YouTuber I really like called Adam Conover talked about this with like billionaires, and I feel like it's the exact same thing here. YouTubers like Scott the Woz and Nathaniel Bandy, they pride their content off of you not thinking about what they're saying. They build their content knowing that you're not gonna think critically about what they're saying to you. Because once again, who the hell thinks that trees growing too fast is an actual complaint? Nathaniel Bandy does, and he wants you to think that too. But as soon as you think, hey, wait a second, that doesn't make sense, his power over you evaporates. It's gone. Because the thing is, Scott the Woz and other people like him, they hold power over you by you not thinking about what they say. But as soon as you start to think critically, and as soon as you start to actually, as soon as you start thinking critically, pah, their grip over you is gone. You realize the bullshit you're being fed, and they no longer can control you. And it's so important that we do so. Because I can assure you, this is not the only, us in the music community, there's no way we're the only victims of this kind of treatment. Maybe Caddicarus has caused, say, another fan base to get needlessly harassed, or Nathaniel Bandy got this fan base, or NicoBBQ. I don't know. Sorry, I'm speaking weird again. But the point is, we're very much not the only community that gets treated like this. And the truth is, I'm not gonna say that no one hated Wii Music before Scott the Woz did, but I've seen reviews of the game, and because of Scott the Woz, and because of him specifically, Wii Music's reputation went from just mediocre and forgettable to worst game of all time material. It didn't deserve the first reputation, and it sure as hell doesn't deserve the second reputation. So, if we want to give Wii Music the proper reputation that it deserves, we have to kick this guy off the stage. We have to kick Scott the Woz and Nathaniel Bandy off their thrones. We have to dethrone the king. Down with the bloody red king, I guess. Whatever you want to say, we have to get these guys out. Because they control all of us. From the biggest Wii Music artists like Adam Crossing to just small ones like Koteno Project. They control all of us. And they can control their audience to harass all of us. And it's simply despicable. Because they hold power. They're seen as the beacons of information about Wii Music. They're seen as the top #1 people to go to. And they don't deserve that. People like Herman Miller, the J-Paul Music, Adam Crossing, Libra Games, Kozakura, Blissey the Black Bear Koopa, anyone is more worthy of being considered among the best than those two. Scott the Woz and Nathaniel Bandy, as well as their associates. The point is, we have to think for ourselves, we have to fight back, and we have to fight against the misinformation that holds us down. There's no other way to say it. Scott the Woz, he's pushing us down with misinformation, and we have to stand up for ourselves. We can't continue to support people like him when he's basically the reason why we're in the state that we're in, why we're made fun of, why we're harassed, why we're sent death threats. It's his fault, and we should not respect him for it. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for listening, and I hope this has helped you understand the situation better. Thanks for watching. See you soon.